Hello and welcome to Dark and Stormy Book Club. Today we are visiting with Harry Carpenter. He is the founder of Fright Reads, which will happen at the end of this month in Millersville, Maryland. Enjoy!
I'm Ann Dart.
I'm Tracy Stormy.
And I'm Kathy Knight.
And together we are
It Was a Dark and Stormy Book Club,
a podcast for mystery lovers.
Welcome.
If you enjoy our show, please consider contributing to the Dark and Stormy Patreon. By becoming a patron, you will help us create better and quality content. There are also benefits to becoming a patron, such as exclusive content and Dark and Stormy merchandise. Become a supporter at patreon.com/darkandstormybc. Check our website for the link. We appreciate any and all contributions. Thank you.
Fright Reads Book Festival is an indoor, all-ages event featuring loads of crafters, authors, artists, and more. It is to be held at the Benfield Sports Center at 1031 Benfield Boulevard in Millersville, Maryland, 21108. The contact number, if you'd like information, is 443-415-8412. This is the third year of an event that grows bigger each year. It will be held September 30th and October 1st from 12 noon until 6 p.m. That's both Saturday and Sunday. We are pleased to introduce Harry Carpenter to the program. He is the founder and the producer of Fright Reads, which is September 30th and October 1st of this year. Welcome, Harry.
Well, thanks for having me again. I feel like it's been forever.
Well, annual thing, and you'll be getting bigger every year.
And you guys will be coming back every year.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about it. I have seen it before, but I had never really sure if it was my place. And now Central Pennsylvania has something that's called the Scholastic Book Fair. So like Scholastic.
That's clever.
And they run it at, there's a brewery up here called Love Drafts.
Yeah,
And
Love Drafts is awesome.
Right. So
yeah.
They're making a specialty drink. And when I went there, I was like, oh, you know what? I could very well fit in it for the Fright Reads. Let's go ahead and do that. Fright Night. That's what I thought at first. I was like, hope there's no weird vampires.
I've heard every iteration of this. I've heard Fright Night, Fright Fest.
Okay.
Said, that's Six Flags, but okay. Then there was Fright Fair.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay.
Oh,
Fright Books. Fright Books is my other favorite one. I've heard it every way. So.
Okay.
So now
this
this
is
is
territory.
This is the third year, correct?
This is year 3. You guys have been there since year 1.
Yes. And nobody put signs out.
So
very tiny.
So year 1, not to knock the community center because it was a great start, but the staff was less than enthusiastic. So they weren't taking any extra steps to say, hey, by the way, book festival downstairs.
Yeah.
We were
That
also
could be
in a
hard.
basement, and we didn't have as much signage as we should have. The Wi-Fi didn't work. Just about anything you could think of. And I think there were 26 total tables from end to end.
Okay.
And then you guys saw the evolution last year. We went to a sports center that actually has Wi-Fi.
Awesome.
And
not in the basement.
You at least doubled your size.
I more than doubled. We went from 26 tables to 120.
Oh, wow. You did.
That's awesome.
We had the stage too, which was the new addition.
Mm-hmm.
So last year was a guesstimation of what a stage should be in terms of size. Severe miscalculation on our part.
That's all right.
There was little room for a table and people.
Okay.
So you could either have one or the other. So we had our Authors 101 panel. which we're bringing back this year because of
Awesome.
everybody loved it. And
Oh,
we
you're
have
on
4
that one,
authors.
aren't you, Misty? You're on the 101, aren't you?
Am I on
Are you on 101 or are you on the Women in Horror?
I will have to go look. I just don't write horror. So I'd be a little surprised if I'm
Yeah.
on Women in Horror.
I
But,
think you're on
but
the
if I
101.
am, I can still
Probably.
talk about it.
Been
Put
on
me
some
on a
strange panels before.
I have. I can
But-
talk about anything.
Yeah, so we had enough room for comfortably 3 people on the stage. I remember I was awkwardly just on the stairs to the side and just kind of had a microphone and said, here's my 2 cents. Okay, I'm getting out of here. I leave to the rest of you. And it works out because I have to run the show, but we just did not have enough room. So we did upgrade the building size. We did more than triple our vendor capacity. The stage was a new addition because we had the panels in some awkward room upstairs around the corner down the hall,
Yeah.
and nobody knew about it. So that
Right.
was fun. So now there's no escaping the panels. They're in front
Right.
of you. We
You
had a
have to.
magic show last year.
Ooh.
Every
Oh,
author
you
kind of got in there and do
it was
stuff.
amazing. You
That's
had the Ghostbusters there. You know,
Yeah.
it was
Well, the
That's
Ghostbusters
fabulous.
are coming back.
Ooh.
And
Yay.
as long as no mechanical ailments happen to the vehicle, we'll have the Ecto 1 this time. Last year we had a hurricane. We had heavy winds, and it has to come across the Key Bridge from the
Yeah.
other side of town. So
All right,
it can't come through tunnels, so it's only bridge bound. And because the wind was 60 plus miles an hour, you don't want that thing
No,
topping
no.
over and having to fish it out of the water.
then-
So we had Justina Ireland as our author guest of honor.
Oh,
So we
very
had,
cool.
and Justina is fantastic. Did you guys get to stop by her table and see her?
yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
She's so
Yeah.
nice, and she's
Yes.
just so talented, and it's just so much fun to see her name pop up at different things. I was at Awesome Con a couple of months ago, and the table across from me was some big bookstore, bookseller type, and there's Justina's books, and I'm just sitting there like, I know her! I know her!
I know that's a good feeling.
It is.
So, what else is new for Fright Reads this year?
So we're getting into a couple of new things in terms of territory. We're trying celebrities. Not that the authors that we have aren't celebrities. You can't just throw around Tim Baldwin and people will know. You
Yeah.
can't just say Joyce Elaine and people are like, ah, yeah,
It's
Joyce.
true.
No,
I'll be
if
there
you say
for her.
if you say Robert Downey Jr., everybody instantly knows
Well,
that name.
yes.
Chris Evans, they know that name. So
Are you saying they'll be there?
I'm not saying they won't be.
I mean,
There-
you'll
there-
just have to
There's a
pay
chance.
for a ticket and come find out for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
just find
Maybe-
out if they're there.
Maybe they'll be incognito. So,
Ooh.
Never know.
Oh, so it was funny because I said, well, I want to go a little bit bigger. And then it ended up just snowballing into something so much more. So I reached out to Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
We've been connected on Facebook and friends for a little while now. And he's just an awesome, awesome guy. And I tried to set him up for a friend of he had a zombie bar crawl that he tried to put together. And then I said, you know who you need? The first Jason Voorhees. At the end of the whole thing, his band will play. It comes as a package.
I can't wait for that.
No, man, no, I'm good. I'm good. And I said, all right, whatever. Few years later, I now have the means to do so. And I circled
Yeah.
back to Ari and he said, it's close to Halloween. That's my hot time.
Yeah.
Let me know for sure. I think a half hour later, I was for sure.
yeah,
yes,
it's a
yes,
no-brainer.
Yeah.
you're in. He's super awesome. And that's kind of what got started. I announced Ari on Friday the 13th
Of course, as you
in
do.
January. I had his date specifically. I was like, oh, I can't wait. The rest of them all were just me abusing my power and bringing in people I want to meet.
Why not?
If you go onto frightreads.com, you can see all of the awesome people, but I went ahead and I booked Brian O'Halloran was the next guy that said yes to me right away.
Nice.
Nobody knows who that name is. Brian O'Halloran is from the Kevin Smith film Clerks,
Yes.
among other things, but
Right.
most known for being Dante.
Yes.
And I talked to his agent, and his agent says, yeah, he'll do it. And I said, he's supposed to be here today. Yes. And I locked him in. Then
you have
I had,
a lot of Clerks people.
this is where
I
it got
love
funny
Clerks.
because I had Robin Shelby, who played Slimer in the Ghostbusters 2 and the 2016 reboot. when they had the Ghostbusters reboot with Melissa McCarthy. She unfortunately had to back out around March or April scheduling stuff. And I have this suspicion that she backed out because she might be doing the new Ghostbusters film.
Ooh.
And I hope that's what it is. I hope the best for this
we'll
woman.
give her a pass on that one.
Yeah, all right.
So I hope the best for her because she's been doing a lot of different stuff and opportunities are going on. And as of this recording, there's a writer's strike and actor strike and all this other stuff's going on.
So they have nothing better to do.
I'm hoping that there's something lined up for her that she had to cancel. Before she canceled, I started to think, I said, well, Brian O'Halloran needs some friends. I was like, it's kind of weird just to have one guy from like one property. I mean, Jason Voorhees is fine, but he kind of rolled solo.
Yeah.
So I feel like Jason, Freddie, those guys can run solo and not need Nancy and the gang. They don't need them with them. I tried for Dante and Randall. I tried for Randall.
Those are the, recognizable.
Yeah.
I tried to get the duo, but I think it was just out of my budget. At least at the time, my thinking was like, I can't afford it. I'm flying this guy in from LA. I already got a flight that I got to figure out from LA, how I'm bringing Slimer over here. I guess Jeff Anderson isn't coming and Brian O'Halloran is the only one supposed to be here today. Well, then I started to think and I said, well, who else is on the list of people that I would like to meet that isn't Jay and Silent Bob? They said, how about Scott Schiaffo? And I kind of was just like, the Chuli's gum dude? Okay. So I started to look into him and he wrote a book. He's been in a rock band. He's a pretty cool dude.
So there you go.
So I said, bring in Scott. I want to make sure that he knows he can sell his book too.
Right.
The agent, she's like, yeah, sure, I'll pass that along. And then we ended up locking down all in the same span. Trevor Furman, who played Elias, the weird, creepy kid from Clerks 2 and 3.
Yes.
And then Ming Chen. He's not necessarily a Clerks connection, but he was in the third movie for like 10 seconds.
Doesn't matter.
It counts as Clerks, but Ming's just an awesome guy. And I've hung out with Ming on several occasions, and he's just nothing but just a party animal and loves what he does. So I got him on board.
And a lot of people like that kind of stuff. So like Gettysburg used to have a horror fest up this way. So a lot of people came because Bruce Campbell was supposed to be there and then wasn't. But they also were really coming for the one lady.
The offbeat ones.
Well, the one lady who was the running half naked girl in one of the George Romero Night of the Dead movies. She had a line all the way out the door.
When you said the running naked girl, that's Return of the Living Dead.
Okay, yes.
And that so happens to be one of the guests that I have.
Stop it! Is she?
Linnea Quigley
well,
will be
she'll
one of the
draw
guests.
the crowd.
Good, good.
So I'm looking at celebrities that when you start to get into the event promoter world, you start to switch gears a little bit. It's not about like, ooh, I want to meet them. It's would everybody else like to meet them? Is it just me or would everybody else like to? And B, it's, are they a good person?
Yes.
Because I've heard horror
Well, they
stories.
get a reputation from these events because they're everywhere. My brother, he goes to all of them. His basement is full of nothing but autographs, and he...
so is mine, but you can't see it.
And he's been a horror fan his whole life.
I have Linnea. She's going to be on the guest list of awesome people. I'm bringing back the fun little magician.
Oh, good.
Good.
If you got to see him last year, he was a lot of fun. He's fixed his act and he's coming back bigger and better. I'm excited.
Yay.
So now, can you explain to the listeners how the tickets work?
Well, I have a lot of options for tickets.
No, I can't.
Exactly.
No, and then show up, and I'm sure it'll work itself out.
I love
as
that
of right,
so much.
I'm going to talk about early buy if you buy online. Now, if you show up at the door, there's a different price. It's called door price. I hate to do it. It sucks, but that's what happens when you wait till the very last minute.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to do it online, the tickets are so expensive. They're $8 per day.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'll have to give up my latte
know.
for that day. What is that?
You gotta sell a kidney.
Mine is probably worth about $8, so yes.
No double whopper that day.
You can get the single whopper, but not the double whopper that day.
So they're
That's
$8
awesome,
a day. So if you want to come hang out on Saturday or Sunday, $8. I don't care either or.
Both.
Now, if you want to do both, both tickets, so if you add that together, that's 16, very basic math. The bundle is only 14.
Oh, look at that.
So by getting both, you can save $2.
$2.
And then that's $2 more you can spend on something you really don't need inside, because you will.
Right. And there'll be
There's a lot of things
kinds
to buy.
Posters and fun stuff and
I spent a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
easy to do.
When you're going to these kinds of conventions, you want the keychains, you want the stickers that can go on the back of your laptop or your bag. You want the pins that you can put on your backpack or put on your t-shirt, or if you've got a jean jacket, wear that and put them on there. And that's the kind of stuff, like, I go to them if I'm not
looking for unique
author. I am going, and I'm going for memory stuff.
This is memories, I can tell you that. Although I don't remember most of it. Everything was a blur for me. I'm told it was great.
It was
but basically the general admission is kind of like what happened last year. You come in, you hang out, you walk the building, buy a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't need. The only difference is you can come back the next day and do more damage.
Not damage, Harry. Shopping.
It's damage. It's damage. It's damage. I've seen the wallet after an event. I've seen what I do.
You know what, though? I love that kind of stuff because it's an instant memory. So when you have a sticker from somewhere like Fright Reads, not Fright Fest or Fright Books, but Fright Reads, you do, like, let's say you're having a really crappy day in the middle of December and you look over and you're like, oh, I remember when I picked that up. That was a lot of fun. And then you get the experiences, and it sounds like you have really great people coming in, which is just going to make the experience that much better.
We have one extra special thing. When you mentioned the tickets, we have a first Jason concert. I was talking about Ari earlier on.
I can't wait.
Ari has a concert. Now, his concert ticket is only $10 extra. So realistically, if you show up just for Saturday, which is when the concert is, $18.
How can you beat that?
Kids 10 and under are always free.
Okay.
So if it's, mom, dad, 2 kids that are under 10, what? That's $18 a person, under $40, $38.
Yeah.
I know that they had the food thing there last year.
The concessions are still be there. I'm going to try to have different food options, something a little bit better to have. That was some of the feedback. Food was on the list of, I wish you had blank. Food was one of them. Parking was the other. That's the only one that's out of my hands. Unless we get a developer's permit and level half of that complex and turn it into a parking lot, it's not happening.
That's a no. That's a no, Harry.
So get there early and stay late.
I am working on stuff, make sure that the vendors are parked in designated areas to make sure that my volunteers scoot around the corner or something. Like, you're going to be there all day. Give up your spot.
I mean, we can do that too. We'll,
that's the best I can come up with, is open up as much parking as I can.
Yeah.
Because the parking lot's going to be full of, hopefully, a food truck. Barks Animal Shelter will be there on Sunday.
Oh.
So they're going to have, I don't know what the proper name is called, but like their critter wagon.
Oh, no.
Where they're going to have the cats and the rabbits.
Dog.
And then they're going to have the dogs on the inside of the door.
Ah, Harry.
I know.
No,
I know.
This is
I
not
know.
good.
My husband will kill me.
All right. You and I, Tracy, then are going to police each other, okay?
Yeah.
You do not let me get a dog, and I will not let you get a dog, okay?
How are the ticket sales going?
Comparative to last year, we had like 750 people show up, and that was at the end of the day when the event ended.
Right.
This year, we're already looking at really good amount of pre-sales. We're looking at, I think it was 150 people, which is, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot.
No, that is.
No, it does.
Considering this time last year, 19 tickets had sold.
Oh,
so
sorry.
We're already looking at bigger. When you go to a convention or a festival, crowds and stuff, they can bog you down. But you guys were there. You know my stance on wider aisles. I don't try to cram as many vendors in as possible.
It was very nice.
You can walk around, roomy. You can breathe.
If somebody was in a wheelchair or something, they would have had no problem.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I try my best. So I have anxiety when it comes to crowds.
Oh.
So I built this event for me, basically. I said, big open space, all the fun stuff, the Jason Voorhees and Linnea. And I do have a couple of different authors this year. We have Ronald Malfi and Adam Caesar. So we're going to have those two
Fabulous.
guys, which will be super awesome. And I'm making all these fun connections and getting to pull all these people into this network. I want it to be just a super fun place to be. There's a place and time for the big conventions.
Yeah.
Where you do the autograph grabs. I just want this to just feel like a smaller community.
Yeah.
We may still get big and huge and be at a convention center one day, maybe, possibly. But
in the meantime, what you have is beautiful.
But you're still staying true to your roots with the books. And we appreciate that.
Speaking of the books, I should have Spooky Tales and Scary Things 3 for the event. I can't get it out anytime sooner. It would be lovely to have it out in August, but I'll have it out and published and on the shelf sometime in September, and I'll have it on hand for the book festival.
Awesome. I will be looking forward to that.
So for our listeners, if you live in the general Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia area, buy your tickets online or travel in for the event.
Yeah. Bring the cool costumes.
Wear your
costuming?
costume and
bring the cool
your
costumes.
wallet.
Bring your wallet.
So
we told our listeners to come and find us because we have costumes for both days. So.
Maybe I'll bring
if they're looking for you, they won't have to look hard because you'll be on the stage talking to a lot of different awesome people. So it won't be too hard.
Well, Harry, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in less than 2 months.
Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Having me.
Bye.
Trivia. Last week's question was, many mysteries are inspired by true crime. Each of the following books were inspired by a true crime except one. Which book is entirely fiction? A. The Crow Trap by Anne Cleves. B. Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. C. The Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Or D. Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. The answer is A. The Crow Trap by Anne Cleves. Anne Cleves writes her books as crime works. The Crow Trap was the first book that features Vera Stanhope. Anne writes for herself and what she likes to read. The Telltale Heart was inspired by a real murder in Salem of 82-year-old Captain Joseph White, who was bludgeoned to death by a hitman hired by White's nephews. The crime at the core of Agatha Christie's most famous novel has its grounding in the 1932 Lindbergh kidnapping. Alias Grace is based on an event from 1843. A 16-year-old Canadian girl named Grace Marks was tried for the murder of her employer and his mistress. This week's question is, where did Carol Nelson Douglas find Midnight Louie? A. At the ASPCA. B. A neighbor gave him to her. C. In the newspaper. Or D. He was on her doorstep. Tune in next week for the answer. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode. We thank Harry for joining us. We're so looking forward to Fright Reads at the end of the month, and I hope if you're in the area that you plan on joining us. It should be a lot of fun. And next week we will have interviews with 2 of the authors who will appear at Fright Reads. Thank you for listening. We hope you join us next time. And remember,
life would be boring without a little mystery.
Bye.
Bye.